Sofa King Cool here with David Hart. How you doing, man?
David, pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What show are you with?
This is Sofa King Cool.
Okay, thank you. Right on.
Yeah, definitely, man. Glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I understand that you are on a big tour right now. You got a few more months of going around.
Yeah,
is that right?
it's a tour. I've already toured 2 times this year, and they slapped a 3-month tour on me, which I feel is too much. I've told them it needs to be spread out, and they just boomed. I'm not going to do this next year. I'm
Right.
going to put my foot down because I feel that things should be in moderation, and they slapped a 3-month tour on me. Phil, my booking manager, Phil Shivers, and I explained to him and Adam Papagan that things need to be broken up.
Right.
And
A little bit here, a little bit there, right?
a lot of bands, I did the Three Dog Night and the Monkeys that were from my church, the Christian Science church I was raised in. They told me that's what breaks up more bands if they don't if things are not broken up.
Yeah, definitely.
Things need to be done out of moderation.
Yeah, it gets monotonous going from place to place. You get tired of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, you might have to do a little bit more tour next year because you got the new CD coming out.
Yeah, I am, but the only problem I have about the new CD, and I'm going to be purely honest, and all they'll be saying I'm thinking negative, but I feel as a songwriter and that I should have been able to listen to the CD, but my co-friend Adam did not let me listen to the CD, and one of the songs was not done professionally. It was the worst one that was chosen, and I want to give my public the best.
Yeah, definitely.
And see, I used to be Frank Sinatra and B.B. King. They did things to perfection.
Right.
And but nowadays, a lot of young people just want to throw things together and not put they want to put quantity instead of quality in it. And I am going to reproduce another CD completely by myself with another band and do a punk rock album the way I want to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you want to give the fans what they want to hear, but you want to be proud of the work that you're doing. You don't want to put anything out that you are not proud of, because what are you going to do when someone hears something they don't like?
And the thing is, I'm just not happy with one of the songs on there, and I felt that Adam, he's a very talented guy. I'm very lucky that he's worked with me, but I wish he would listen to me because I'm old enough to be his dad.
Right.
And he sometimes doesn't want to listen to me. He just wants the young kids I'm working with want to do things their own way, and they need. And I'm not being negative. Phil said, "Oh, you're being negative." I'm being constructive.
Yeah, definitely.
And people will respect you when you do things in a professional way.
Mm-hmm.
And when it hurts me is the fans my backup musicians are heavy metal and punk rockers.
Right.
I love punk rock music because I grew up in rock and roll music.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to give the people what they want.
Yeah, definitely.
And the people want to hear songs like the New Haven Railroad, that we did a year ago, but they don't want to do it. So it's a frustrating thing. Where people don't want to do what they want to do.
Especially, I mean, you're the one who has the following. I mean,
I have the following. People come and get autographs and pictures from me. I've told them that, but they don't listen.
People want to see you. You can have anybody behind you.
And then the thing is, you need to explain that to them, and the people need to write emails, because if they went and toured by themselves, they wouldn't have the following I have.
Right. I mean, you have a cult following from your work with Tim and Eric.
And then I did the Junior Christian Science Bible lesson show for my church,
and check it out. You're big on check it out
with Dr. Steve Rule. And what hurts me is disrespectful is my own family and my own church members don't support me like they should. I call the churches. They complain that they're not attracting young people. I have a following. That the Christian Science Church will not let me be a part of the youth program. And I have a following. They won't let me put their studies in the reading room. Ann White, who's over there putting the new hymnal together, doesn't even return my phone calls. And it hurts me, my cousin Janet Grange, who I grew up with, who's taught family values and morals, has no respect to return her cousin's phone call.
That's terrible.
And what really hurts me is, this is really going to shock you, my white relatives that were the McKinnons and the Rick Rex singers showed more respect to me than my black relatives. So I understand what Jesus says. He went unto his own and his own received him not. And it hurts me that my own cousin, the Granges, my cousin Uncle Danny, and my sister Tyra that passed on this year, when her husband died, Marty, I gave her so much money, so much support for her and her daughter Enocha. I couldn't get her to come to my concert one time, not once.
That's terrible.
You know, and they call themselves Christians, and they don't practice what they preach. And Janet Grange went through class with Ruth Elizabeth Jinks, and she should have more respect for her cousin. She don't even return my phone calls when I come in town, with no respect. No respect at all. And you were raised better than that, Janet Grange. Your Aunt Marie raised you better than that, to love your neighbor as yourself. And it's shameful that you don't even show the respect to attend your cousin David's concerts. I know you're making lots of money as a lawyer.
You should definitely come see your brother, that's for sure. Yeah. Now, you were speaking about some of your white relatives. I understand the Wright brothers,
I'm related to the Wright brothers on my Caucasian side. They're Presbyterian ministers. I also, I'm part German. The Germans treat the blacks through the Underground Railroad because the Germans and the Irish faced a lot of racism, just like the Italians.
Like the Nazi Party?
Well, they hit real bad.
Right.
And the Germans, before they got polluted with Hitler, they were down. The Quakers and the Lutherans faced resistance and racism from the first Caucasians that were the English and the Scottish. They were excluded, and they had to form things by themselves. I stayed with my German white relatives, my Irish relatives, and they told me about that. And they helped free the blacks through the Underground Railroad.
Right.
Through the Quaker and the Lutheran Church. And I'm going to tell you another thing I'm very upset about.
Okay.
I am disappointed and ashamed that black people don't show any respect toward one another. When I do concerts, I'm being interviewed now.
You gotta play right now.
I'm being interviewed now. We've got to show respect. I'm being interviewed right now. The guy said would take us later. What hurts me is there's no unity and respect among African American people and their family.
Right.
They don't help each other out. And it's the Italians stick together, other people stick together, but blacks
They turn on each other?
They turn on each other, they kill each other, they harm each other. I'm not going to say there was a black woman who I worked with.
Okay.
And I felt sorry that her spouse died.
Right.
I helped her out with money. I was shown gratitude by being pickpocketed my fanny pack.
That's terrible.
I had to stop. I had to get all my credit cards and stuff. Then she had the nerves to call me up over and over again.
Wanting more money?
Living off each other and start loving one another. And the thing is, another thing. This is crazy. The blacks all went to the Baptist church that had blacks in bondage and slavery.
Right.
The Lutheran church and the Quaker church that helped free blacks through the Underground Railroad, they never mentioned them in the Ebony magazine or anything. Roots didn't mention anything correctly about the Underground Railroad. There wouldn't have been a Harriet Tubman or Frederick Douglass if it wasn't for the Quakers or the Lutherans.
You think it has a lot to do with hip-hop music?
I don't know. But the thing is, it hurts me that rappers are killing one another.
Yeah.
Instead of helping one another.
Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah, and see, it's united we stand and divided we fall.
Some of your band right here.
I am being...
Okay, well, are you going to do an interview or a show? Because
I'm
we're
doing
late
an
right
interview.
now. Then we're cutting songs.
But they told me...
I just talked.
The guy told us we could do it
Doing
later.
this on camera. No, right now it's time to play or whatever. We'll just
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, I'll be there in a few minutes.
No, you can't because right now we're supposed to take the stage. Now we're cutting.
Okay. I'll catch you there. But I was told that I could do a little bit later. That's what I was told.
Yeah, but like 9:45. Now it's 10 o'clock.
Okay, I'm coming on the stage. Okay.
You know what we'll do is I'm going to go catch your set. I'll film some of that, and then when you're done, he has a few minutes after he's done, or no?
It's up to him.
Yeah, I'll do some more interviewing.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, from my understanding, you were actually abducted when you were a kid?
I was abducted as a kid when my parents moved to Park Forest, Illinois, at 117 Westwood Drive in Park Forest, Illinois. Before my family lived there, a retired colonel lived there that had contact with extraterrestrials. And he spent a lot of time in that apartment building.
Now, have you ever had contact with him since, or just one time when you were a kid?
Well, after that happened, I saw unidentified objects in the sky, and my grandmother, that's related to the Wright brothers, told me that the Wright brothers got their back engineering technology from working with an extraterrestrial race just before she passed on. And she told me that they didn't want to make contact with the Caucasian side of the family, so they made it with the African American side of the family. She was a very fair-skinned woman, like a Latino,
Okay.
a light-skinned black woman, and she was the direct descendant of the Wright brothers. And she told me that and then she passed on. 2 years later, I was selling my portraits at La Brea Tar Pits, and I met this beautiful woman that looked like Betty Page, and she was a Corinthian elder master. Her name was Jessadel Ordius, and she told me that they were responsible for all the modern technology that we have today. And she told me there would be a black president that would be part Irish, that would be a Democrat, and he would do a lot of see a lot of changes happen.
Very cool. Now, what happened with you and Tim and Eric? I mean, you were part of the show for such a long time, and then for a while you're not with them anymore? Or?
I'm still with Tim and Eric, and I'm grateful for all the work that Tim and Eric have done for me. But I don't know what it is. I'm not saying this to be critical or be disrespectful, but they've cut me out of parts. I memorized 6 parts for the movie. They
Right.
cut out to the very end. I don't feel, this is the way I feel. If I had someone that was a drawing card to my show, I would use them as much as I could. But
Definitely.
But I don't know why. I'm not cutting them down. I'm grateful for the success I've had with Tim and Eric, and I want to do more stuff with Tim and Eric. But I did the Crimbus special, and they didn't. Everybody looks for me on the shows, but they keep on cutting the parts out that I do, and I memorize and I work hard for. I don't know why. Tim and Eric are very talented professional writers and actors and musicians, and I feel kind of shortchanged, and so do the fans when they want to see me a part of their TV family and my parts cut off.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm not slandering them or being disrespectful to them, but I feel that people should have more respect for people that put in time and help them to their achieve of glory and success. Like I feel the Christian Science Church should have respect toward me. I did a public access program for 20 years without pay. Jim Henson, the guy, the Friendly Giant from Canada, that did the Friendly Giant show. Jim Henson, Bert Stilston, that did Cook, the Friend and Ollie, says our Christian Science Sunday schools are empty. We need something that can attract young people to the Christian Science Church. So I agreed to do a public access show called the Junior Christian Science Bible Lesson Show. I did it out of a labor of love for my church. All I got was criticism. It's too ethnic-y.
Too ethnic-y.
This is what the conservative people said. They even tried to talk the people not to air them. And then they made a big stink because I used a picture of the church and a picture which I had to take out. And then they didn't want me to use the name Christian Science, like they weren't proud of me as being a member. So, and this is not slander. They made me change the name to Junior Christian Teaching Bible Lesson Program. The name Christian Science was originally owned by the Masons and the Egyptians a long time ago. I respect Mrs. Eddy. She was a wonderful spiritual leader. But I was trying to promote Christian Science, and I felt the Christian Science Church should have been behind me and helped me promote something so that I was promoting them.
Right. Definitely.
But there's still, I hate to say it, on all these conservative organizations that are white, there's still a lot of racism toward people of color that needs to be healed.
Yeah, there definitely is, you know. I mean,
and it's in all, I don't understand why white people are disrespecting Obama, and Obama's trying to do the best he can. And the Republicans have made a lot of mistakes with people in office. Look at Nixon, look at Bush.
Right. Now, what are the chances of you working with Adult Swim to get your own show?
I would like to get my own show, but I have to have people that believe in me and that are behind me, you know. I would like to get my own show on Adult Swim. I feel it would be a hit if I had good writers behind me. And I've shared this with Tim and Eric, but you can. It's what can you do? I wanted to stay with Sonia Rude and Bridget Footman, but they decided they didn't want to be with me anymore.
Right.
So you have to accept change and move on. But anyway, if Tim and Eric never call me to work again on any of their shows, I just want to thank them for the success and the progress I've had when I was on their show.
What about Check It Out? You know, that was awesome. That's a great show too.
I did Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule. I did 2 episodes on that with John Serrano. And I would appreciate it if the fans would stop twisting what I say and slandering me. When I say something, they change it around.
What are they saying?
Well, like they turned around and said that Tim and Eric, they slandered me with Tim and Eric, things I never would think or said. I got slandered on the internet, something I never said about my booking manager. Now he's pissed with me, something I never said. And then a woman, I've never toured in Wyoming. Mm-hmm. I've never toured in Wyoming with the Tim and Eric Awesome Show, great job, or my bands. A woman out of the blue lied and said I made her pregnant. I haven't had sex or been intimate with a woman since I was last married to my wife, Bridget. So, I don't appreciate fans making up slander behind my back. They think it's cute, but they know it's offensive.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes people angry with me. My booking manager is upset with me now because a fan said something and put it on the internet. And then I don't like people lying and saying I'm gay. I'm not gay. I just haven't found the right young lady. I'm not prejudiced against homosexuals because my sister's gay. And being black and part white and American Indian, I love and respect anybody, no matter what race or gender they are. But I'm not biased or prejudiced toward anybody, and I don't appreciate people slandering me that are fans. And the fans, if you really like me, you need to stop the slander.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, a lot of people in there today had a great time. You did have one heckler in there for a minute, and you told them what to do.
It's sad in life, I have a lot of, you wouldn't believe that, where I used to play organ at the Christian Science Church, elderly people told me I had a horrible singing voice. I didn't take in their bullshit because I know they were jealous of what I have.
Yeah.
I try to do the best I can and give people the best. I was sang and gave a good show even though I'm down with the flu.
Right.
I feel weak.
Did you think you got it when you were at the falls earlier today, being around all the mist and everything?
It was too much. The wind was blowing very hard. I could have fell into the thing because the wind was just too strong.
Right.
And I'm grateful for the people that are behind me and are with me, and they're very talented. I just wish they would respect me and listen to me sometimes. And I'm not saying this to slander them. If they had a regular job, they would have to do what the boss tells them, not what they want to do.
And you're the boss, right?
Right. And I just wish they would listen to me.
Now, you ever think about making any changes or anything like that, or?
I try to forgive and give people a chance because I know we all make mistakes, all learning. But it comes to the point I might have to make some changes.
Now, how did you get hooked up with those guys? They're actually kind of young.
These are mostly all Adam's friends that are running behind me. Adam Papagan had a liking for me, I don't know, ever since he was a kid.
Okay.
Adams was a fan of me from the Junior Christian Science Bible Lesson Show. He tells everybody that the Del Talk show was before the Junior Christian Science Bible Lesson Show. The Junior Christian Science. His dad will tell you that he brought him to host my show way before he did the Del Talk show at Century Cable, which is now Adelphia Cable and Time Warner Cable, and the city of Los Angeles. Debbie Piccolo still gives the city of Los Angeles a lot of money to do public access, but they don't do public access anymore. They shut down public access, and they lie and say they're going to air people's shows, and they just only put them on the internet.
Right. Now, do you have a YouTube page or anything like that?
Adam has built me a YouTube page, but he controls it. Adam has built me a Facebook, but he controls it. I really need to learn to do that on my own.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can control and see what's coming in and out. And a lot of fans have built me websites to sell my stuff. And sorry to have to say, they tell me nothing's sold. And then when I come to concerts, I'm autographing stuff that's sold on the internet.
Yeah, there was a line. I mean, I had to wait at least a half hour just to even talk with you to set everything up, just because everyone wanted.
Well, when I toured with Tim and Eric, I stayed up sometimes until 1 and 2 in the morning signing autographs. And Tim and Eric, after 10 or 15 people were gone. But I stayed with my fans through thick and thin.
What got you into doing puppets? What made you want to be a puppeteer?
Well, there was wonderful puppet shows like the Jim Henson encouraged me to be a puppeteer, and Bert Stilston and the Friendly Giant from Canada, and Bert Stilston did Kukla, Friend, and Ollie. And I also had them as Sunday school teachers in the Christian Science Church.
Very cool. Did you make that puppet yourself that you had on stage?
No, I inherited from a past Sunday school teacher.
That's cool. So you've had them for quite some time then?
I built puppets on my own. I learned to build puppets from Betsy Brown, and I built some puppets on my own. But the puppets that I have on the Tim and Eric show, and that I have on the Junior Christian Science show, are puppets that I inherited from different puppet teachers. I belong to the Puppet Guild of America, and I belong to their organization as well.
Now, what do you think about Mitt Romney wanting to ban Sesame Street and PBS?
Rodney?
Yeah, he just did that during the debate last week.
Well, I think he's a Mormon, and I don't agree with all of his ideas, but I agree with him wanting to teach kids family values and morals.
Well, that'd be a pretty big blow to a puppeteer like yourself, and Sesame Street wasn't around anymore, right?
Yeah.
Now, people want to see you on tour, they want to get some merchandise, they want to get a hold of you. What's the best way?
The best way they can get to me is to get in touch with me directly. Go to DavidLiebehart at sbcglobal.net, or they can write me at 3918 West Beverly Boulevard, apartment 407, Los Angeles 90004.
What's your apartment?
Apartment 407, David Liebehart, or they can call me, just leave an email, heart7319 at AOL.com. Now, I do want to add to the story is, they have a saying of a song from the 60s by the Fifth Dimension, united we stand, and divided we fall. And it breaks my heart and hurts me that my own family doesn't support me. My own sister, who I helped out with emergency money when her...
The lesbian or a different sister?
No, my older sister that's a lesbian. She's the one that's in Berlin, Germany, and she goes with Utah. And she thinks she's East Indian, but she's I don't know why she thinks she's East Indian. I think she's had a nervous breakdown, but she's really African American and American Indian. And I have a niece from her named Maura, and she's from Berlin, Germany. She's a very talented painter and an artist, so. But
the other sister doesn't support you then?
No, Editor Rita, I helped Editor Rita with all kinds of money. She hasn't worked a job in 5 or 6 years.
Why hasn't she worked?
I don't know. I have helped, supported her, and sent her money. She didn't even show me a copy of the will after my mother passed on, and I found out that she had pocketed a lot of money with my older sister, which was dishonest, and signed and sold my mother's home behind my back, which was very disappointing. And I came to the conclusion, if I continue, I had to stop helping her out financially because she wasn't trying to find a job and she needs to learn to stand on her own 2 feet.
Right.
And she's a grown lady, and I've told her that, but she doesn't want to listen. And it's sad. This is a problem with a lot of people think the world owes them a living instead of a right to live one. And my dad taught us to work for everything we get. I bought a business permit. I sell my portraits at La Brea Tar Pits in between my jobs. When they used to have 9-to-5 jobs, when people could get, I even worked all kinds of grocery store jobs, restaurant jobs, and I know that there's help out there. All you have to do is apply yourself.
Right.
And I feel that I'm for welfare for people that need it. But it needs to not be something that is a lifetime thing. People need to learn to get a job and get off of welfare and earn a living instead of running the taxpayers' money out. They can learn to work. There's jobs out there. They just need to apply themselves. I've made my own employment when I couldn't find work, painting signs and selling my artwork. So it's sad that we have, I feel it's like this is it's everything's become so plastic, like organized religion. They preach the word, but they don't teach you how to get out and live the word.
Right.
This is why people, churches, the ministers put on a show and talk about God this, Jesus this, Jesus this. Jesus said, the Bible says we be doers of the words, not hearers only, deceiving themselves. And then these churches, these mega churches that are making millions of dollars. I experimented with the mega churches, but when I found out they were plastic and they weren't helping the homeless or the veterans out, I washed my hands from them. Because, it's more than talk, it's what you do.
Right. Definitely. I believe with that 100%.
And I don't like the plasticness of organized religion.
Right.
I appreciate everything that Phil and the band members have done, but they need to. I spoke to Three Dog Night and that were Christian Scientists, and the Monkeys were Christian Scientists, and they told me what's broken up more bands when bands play themselves out.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, get exhausted.
And exhausted. But this has been. I toured already twice this year. 3 times this year, and I just gonna have to put my foot down and just do it once a year because it's just too much.
Oh yeah.
And I've been,
Did you ever think about working with the Monkeys? Now that Davy Jones is out, they might have a slot. You guys both have the same beliefs.
I don't know. I feel that.
I think you'd be a good fit.
I know. Well, I'll ask them. I've gone to their book signings and signed their autographs for them. I'll ask them next time I go to a book signing.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see you part of the Monkeys.
I want to keep it on positive. Jim and Eric, I am grateful for everything you've done for me and putting me on the show. But I like you guys. You're super talented, but I don't think it's fair that you all write me out of things and just give me small parts when I have such a big following of people that like you and love the show. And then band members. I am grateful for all you've done before me, but you've got to show respect to me and sometimes listen to me. I'm not trying to slander you or say anything against you, but you all need to show more respect in working with me.
Yeah, definitely. So, what I'm getting at here is that Tim and Eric, you're very grateful for what they did for you, but they need to respect that a lot of people are watching the show to see you, right?
Right, and many people say, we come to show to see David. And then fans have told me all over the United States, when they did their last tour, they did the Crimbus, where's David? Where's David?
Right.
I've gotten phone calls when Tim and Eric were in Australia and Europe. Where's David with you?
Yeah, definitely. People want to see you,
And Tim and Eric, we need each other, just like French fries need a hamburger. I need you and you need me, and we need to work together.
Yeah, definitely. You think you might want to give them a call or something and see if there's something that worked out?
No, they don't. I'm not saying this, and this is true. And I have given Caroline that I've called there, and they haven't returned my phone call lately. I guess they're really busy. They were supposed to do an interview with me with the LA Times. They didn't return my phone call. Howard had to do the story without them. She waited 6 months she wanted to do the story with me and with Tim and Eric.
So if there's something you want to say to them right now?
Tim and Eric, I love you and care about you like the brothers I've never had, but I wish that you would include and not exclude me and put me in more shows. And I have a following, I have a drawing name for you, but you've got to continually use me more. I'm grateful for what you have done for me. And band members, you are very lucky to be traveling with me across the United States. Each of you need to be grateful. Instead of arguing with me, you need to listen and learn from me, because I am old enough to be your dad.
And they got to realize that the fans are here to see you.
The fans are here to see me.
Anybody could be your backing band.
Anybody could be my backing man, but I love you all enough to have you beside me. So we need to you need to show gratitude and respect toward me. And when I say something isn't right, listen to me. You got to give the people what they want. And if people want to hear certain things, like they wanted to hear the New Haven song, they wanted to hear Politics, I get the fan mail. You think people are going to come back and see us if we don't give them what they want?
Right.
And I'm not saying this to slander you.
You're just saying what you feel and what
I'm saying what I feel and what's right.
Definitely. Now, do you want to tell your fans right now to do an online petition to get you back on Eric and Tim's show?
All I can say is you need to write to Adult Swim. You need to let them know that David, and you need to write to the executive office and say, and ask Absolutely Production to put me in more things and include me in more things. And you need to also write to the Christian Science Church. It is a shame that they don't have one CD produced from any minority. All the CDs are produced from white people, and they would attract more people if they would have. There's so many talented African, Latino, Hispanic, Asian Christian scientists that are being overlooked as musicians and songwriters and singers that should be able to produce music from the mother church, the Christian Science Publishing Society, and you'd have a more bigger crowd if you would produce sometimes not just white folk Christian music, but gospel, classical, jazz, even music with Hispanic melodies, and have Latinos doing their own Hispanic music, not some white lady that's singing the Hispanic music that doesn't have the real feel for it.
Right. I heard you did a song about Whitney Houston recently, is that right?
I wrote a song about Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was an outstanding, talented woman, and I was sad that she threw her life away in drugs and alcohol.
And you don't agree with any of that?
I don't smoke or drink or do drugs. I love my band members. They are super talented musicians, but I wish they wouldn't drink beer and smoke weed, because they are not going to look the way I look at 57 years old.
Did you ever try it before? Weed?
No. I've seen what it's done to other entertainers.
Right.
I've seen what it's done to Whitney Houston. I've seen what it did to Billie Holiday. I see how it's Elvis Presley. There's the guy that's on Home Alone.
Macaulay Culkin.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, I love those Home Alone movies.
Home Alone, that young boy is so cute and adorable.
But now look at him. You know? Broken up with his girlfriend. She's with Ashton Kutcher now. She left him. It's a shame. It really is.
You know, and he's all by himself.
He really is Home Alone right now.
I love his movie. Super talented.
Now, Ellen DeGeneres, did you ever hear your song?
Ellen DeGeneres never wrote me back. I wanted to be a guest on her show. She was raised in Christian Science. I didn't think it was fair that she faced persecution being a lesbian. I feel she's a super talented comedian. I wrote her letters, wanted to be a part of her show, but she never wrote me back.
And you did a great song. I mean, I seen that in there today.
I wrote a song about her, and I wanted to be on her show, but she never wrote. I wrote a song about Phyllis Diller. I felt she was a super talented comedian, and I felt that she should have gotten a Screen Actors Guild Award. I felt that she was, you know, even though I admire Mary Tyler Moore and Patty White as a super talented entertainer, but I felt that people like Phyllis Diller should have been given an award.
Yeah, definitely.
Because she was super talented.
Now, if you had to pick one lesbian talk show host as your favorite, Rosie O'Donnell or Ellen DeGeneres?
I say Ellen DeGeneres.
Definitely, right? She's got the staying power. Her shows,
Yeah, she
phenomenal.
does. She's
She does that dance every day.
I feel, I love gay people. They're super talented, like Paul Lynn, and I feel that they face unfair racism like any other minority, and they should be treated with respect and dignity like anybody else.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though I'm a heterosexual, I feel I've had some good gay friends, but we've had nothing sexually went on. We were just friends,
Right.
like a brother and a sister, or a sister and brother.
Like a true brother.
Yeah, you know, but I would never go to bed with them. I would just,
Yeah.
you know, but I would respect them and treat them and do anything I could do to help them.
Now, you wrote a song that your neighbor tried to have sex with?
Well, I respect him and I love him. He's a very talented guy, and I look up to him. And I have another friend that lives in San Diego that let me know that that's a retired Navy guy. But I just, you know.
How did they all go about? Like, what did he say?
Well, sometimes when they come, when they like me a lot, and I know both of them like me a lot, I just try to respect them and be kind to them, because I know they've been treated and hurt before, and just try to be as nice to them and just to smile out there, you know, and try to be in a polite way, not to hurt them. Just like I wouldn't want to insult or a fat person.
Right.
I would just be kind and polite to them and treat them with dignity and respect and kindness.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, have you ever heard of Riley Martin? You know who he is?
No.
Riley Martin is a guest on the Howard Stern show, and he talks a lot about aliens and things like that. Do you ever think about talking to Howard Stern and sharing some of your stuff with him?
I wanted to be on Howard Stern's show, but and I just don't like.
I think you'd be a perfect fit.
In fact, I wanted to audition for a show, but in fact, another actor tried to get me on a show, but I never heard back from him. You know, it's just anything. I felt I would have been perfect for a lot of these new UFO shows like Resolution, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. I'm a member of Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA, and been since 1980 SAG, and been with AFTRA since 1977, and I've mailed pictures and resumes out, but I haven't heard from anybody. It's like you see a pretty girl that you want to go out with, and give her your phone number, or you apply for a company, and if they don't want to hire you, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So you just keep on trying and go to the next person. I have mailed out, I have a talent agent now. I'm with the Jack Scanati agency that's in North Hollywood. I have got new pictures the way he wanted them, mailed them out. And I've mailed out a lot of pictures on my own, but I just haven't heard from anybody. And all you can do is keep on trying.
Yeah, definitely.
All you can do is try in life.
Do you think you'll ever have contact again with the aliens?
I don't know. The aliens have cut off contact with me because everybody wanted to know about them. And aliens that live in Michigan have promised to come to my show, but they never show up. And then I've got another alien race wanted to get in touch with me and take me to Star Callahan that liked me a lot.
How did they get a hold of you?
Well, email, phone calls, and everything. But when I got so busy working with this band and busy working to survive and working with this band and being on tour, they thought I wasn't interested in them, so they backed off. And then everybody, and they are so afraid because they see how we kill each other and harm each other until they want their privacy.
Right.
Their emails don't work anymore. Their phone numbers don't work anymore.
But they're here on Earth, or they're among us?
They're among us, and they look identical to us.
Very cool. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, that's about it. I'm glad you interviewed me, and I don't want my band members to take it as a bad way, or my booking manager. I would never say anything to do any hurt you, but there needs to be a little bit of more respect among each other.
Definitely.
And
you need to realize that you're in charge.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.